There we go. There we are. There we go. Good morning, good day, good evening. I'm, of course, Gallant Ant. Let's see if I can get this to actually... Alright, there we go. Of course, this is going to be the ad version probably time right now, but hey, I figured I'd go for a walk and enjoy myself on a nice walk, and I don't usually do a lot of things, but the corn's coming up nice, at least. Planted just a couple days ago, and I figured, what the hey, I'll do something different today. So, what the hey? Figured I'd stream something a little bit better. I'm on a nice little walk. It's not too bad. Nice day in Wisconsin. Air quality is not exactly perfect, but hey, it's nice. I'm just on a nice little walk. Streaming location? Not really. This is going to be any field anywhere, so... But I will tell you this is near my home. And just thought I'd go for a nice walk and do it this way once. So... just get out here and in nature, and sun's up. Thought I'd do something a little different. Normally I'm on about this time anyway, and I'm on there doing Space Engineers or 7 days. Thought I'd do something a little different. Put something different on the stream. I always have a face for... I definitely have a face for radio. So I figured I'd put something better on. Birds are coming up. Deer. Rabbits. Chickens are still in the barn. So that's kind of fun things. Far as the eye can see, the corn is real nice glistening of the morning dew. Just thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Do a little IRL stream or however they want to do it. Don't know if I can edit the stream info here. Let's change this to 5th here, 25. Walking talk. And change the category here. We need to get out of that one. Give me a minute here. IRL save. There, we updated that a little bit. There we go. Change that up a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that'll get that out of Space Engineers. Put that in IRL where it belongs. Get that out of the idea. Today's 6/25. Year's 25. It's in June, of course. 5th or 6th. It's all right. I keep things a little bit simple. Got vehicles coming by, things going on. Thought I'd say hello to everybody this way for once. Okay, ads are pretty much over. Welcome in, of course. I'm Gallant Ant. I go by Gallant Fuzz on YouTube. Looking to do something a little bit different. I thought I'd go for a little walk with everybody. Take you guys for a little bit of a walk down a country road. How about that? Instead of something different of you guys dealing with my gaming all the time and wondering what's going on in life. Well, for one, the air quality is not exactly perfect. That's due to some kind of wildfire going on out there. So a little bit of news there, weather and sports. Not a bad day, blue sky. I mean, man, what a beautiful blue sky. I cannot believe this is out here. Figured I'd go for a little walk. Get it. My stretch on is Stylish Rocket asked me to do, get a stretch on, so I figured I'd go for a walk around my area. Got out of my car, went for a walk. Hey, why not? Made sure about the mule sheep and chickens before I went for my walk. And just take you down to Country Road, take a look at the corn. Planted not too long ago, and it's at least already starting to pop up. So if it's knee-high by the 4th, that's a good thing, the 4th of July. That's what we're hoping corn can get to, anyway. Usually 6 minutes in is most of my streams, anyway. If you catch this or you watch this as a VOD, thank you for watching this as a VOD. I'm hoping I can update this enough, get it out of Space Engineers and into something a little bit correct, which is the IRL. I don't do this very often. I figured I'd use my Pixel 6 phone and get out here and just have a nice little walk and talk. What I've been listening to, keeping up with the news, watching a little bit of Big E, Asmongold, of course, checking out Technon, trying to figure out what's going on and how things are going. Yes, I stream to Twitch, and I enjoy that because I have the Xbox X. That's my big thing. Like I said, I do certain games like No Man's Sky, 7 Days to Die, Gallant Ant, Gallant Fuzz, and I play quite a bit of mostly building games, even including a little bit of Minecraft here and there. I'm looking on adding on, of course, Star Trek online, possibly here in the future. I'll have to create a new character for that, but that's fine. Kind of do a basic beginnings idea. I'm gonna roll over here before I get back to the car. Thought I'd walk around a little bit. If you're watching this as a VOD, thanks for watching as a VOD. And of course, you gotta watch out for traffic while you're on the road. This is a major one. What can happen here is, well, I live in the area, so this is easy enough for me to record because I know the area quite well. And it's a nice thing. It's near the river, of course. Makes things a little bit more fun. Maybe we'll see some wildlife when we're out looking. Maybe some birds or something. Old ash tree growth. Emerald ash borer came through a few years back and got a few of the ash trees. Unfortunately, that's what I'm gotten here. Can't help it. We sprayed and everything else for them, but they came through. Nice and green. Wisconsin's nice and it's got the green. Of course, it's not exactly a healthy day, but get out here and I know a few people who have planted along here, and sumac's been coming up pretty fast, and all those nice big there. Sumac is a fast-growing tree. You think you got it nice and covered over, and then all of a sudden this fast-growing bunch of sumac just show up, and bam! I almost say it's an invasive species. Of course, we have some beautiful oaks, elm trees. Of course, we have evergreen trees, of course. That's what I mean by sumac. My goodness. I almost call them an invasive species. These are the sumac trees. My goodness. So, thought I'd do something a little different today. Be more genuine. Is that what they say? Is a lot of people say, you're a bot. So, I'm like, okay. If I'm a bot, I'm Gallant Ant 26, go by Gallant Fuzz on YouTube. Boy, this is a bot? I know they're saying, oh, gee, you know, yeah, I don't think so. Like I said, I have a face for radio. Not exactly the cutest thing in the world in the morning. But when he planted the other day, he planted real good. He used nice big equipment, came on in. Josh did a nice job. The guy who does the planting for the field. Oh, man. And of course, it's, you know, nice and green. We just had a nice rain come through not too long ago. Yeah, we had that cloud cover. That's kind of noticeable. That haze up there is the big from the north there. I don't know if you really see it well depicted on my phone, but there's a haze in the air. That's from those wildfires up in Canada. But we got quite a few evergreen trees. Just this, we planted part of this lane here roughly about 40 years ago, so it's come up real nice. A few, like I said, ash trees in there got nailed by the boar. But I more or less did this to prove to everyone that I exist. So that I'm not just some bot. So that's more or less the reason I'm doing this. So that you know that I'm a real human being. I was accused of being a bot a few times on other people's streams. I'm like, okay, here's some living proof. So if they ask me, hey, are you a bot? I can go, oh no, go check out my channel. I actually have me walking down a country road. And there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. I'm going to be real quiet now. That's what I'm talking about. I don't even know if we can zoom in or not. We can't, but guess what I've got in front of me? Hello, young lady or young man. There we go. Got my scent. Unfortunate. There. Now, if that's an AI, tell me again. There, I got a deer right in front of me. Had a little bit of bird idea, but there was a deer. So, surprise. There. Now, hopefully you guys will now know that I'm not exactly a wildlife photographer, but the only reason it moved the way it did is it caught my scent. But I did get a good view of it. So, if I could have zoomed in, I would have. I don't have a Canon camera. And that came right out of the lane. I'll zoom over here. Came right out of this lane here. And they love this lane. It makes it so much easier to catch the wildlife. And it's so much easier to do this. Wisconsinites were pretty friendly. We wave to each other. And if we don't know each other, we still wave at each other. So that's what makes things interesting. Yes, I'm in Wisconsin. I'm somewhere in Wisconsin. I will state this. I am near one of the largest water park capitals of the world. I'll just give you guys a little peek down the lane here. Beautiful little lane. Grew that, like I said, over the last 40 years. Not too bad. I love this nice corn. I'll try to do a little bit more maybe on another Thursday. You know, go out and we'll walk this again and we'll see how high the corn has gotten. You know, and maybe we'll catch some more wildlife. We don't know. We can catch anything from foxes, deer, rabbits, birds, hawks, bald eagles. That's right, I've got an adolescent bald eagle living nearby. Near probably this zone. Cranes. Lots of cranes. That's because the Crane Foundation, if you look it up, is from this zone as the bird flies, not that far. I mean, a bird can fly miles. And they love these cornfields. They really do. When they go down, they enjoy the cornfields. You just see cranes all over them. So, sandhill crane, Piper cranes, all the type of cranes. There's a habitat for cranes near, I would say about 20 miles away, 20, 30 miles away, give or take. Kilometers, I would say 20 kilometers. So as a bird flies, it's not that far. Whew. Forgive me, I'm a little bit out of breath, but that's because I'm walking at a higher pace than what I normally walk at work. So I'm actually trying to keep out of breath purposely because I'm trying to, do what they always say, get better at something. So thought I'd do something different today. For one, to prove that I'm not a bot. And do something a little bit more fun. You know, take you guys with me, get a little walk. You can see that the camera's moving. This is, and more or less the reason I'm doing this RL or this little video is to prove that I'm not a bot. The biggest thing. I know I have a little ant thing as my idea, and everyone wonders, why do you have an ant? Well, if you ask King Solomon, if you want wisdom, you look at the ants. You can read that up somewhere. Gallant, they always ask me, why do you have a gallant ant? Ant is also small. It's one of the smallest things, insects. Some of the smallest ones, I mean. They're not that big. If you watch Ant-Man, you know how big an ant is when he shrinks down. They're not very big. The worst one, of course, is the bullet ant. It feels like you got shot every time you take a bite from one. So, but I looked at Gallant. Gallant, being loyal, having an idea. So, I figured gallant being what I am. Gallantry. Trying to still look that good. And small. I'm trying to keep it small and keep it real. 7 Days to Die is fun for me to play on that idea, because you're basically by yourself unless you got your good friends on Xbox or on PC to play. From what I understand, I'm going to bring in a little bit of 7 Days. They're trying to get it like more like Epic. So Epic has it so where, boy, they tell you not to go into a place where your voice echoes. My echo, my shadow, and me. So what they're trying to do is more what Epic did, which is they can have a cross-platform, which means Sony PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC will all be able to play on the same zone. So that'll be kind of fun when they get that far. It'll be interesting on that. I do play Space Engineers, and they've got it that way. They've got PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. If you go onto their servers, you can all be on their server, and you can play on their server. You just got to be... You got to be careful, and I try to explain that. When I play Space Engineers, I explain that you have to get yourself situated so that you're not getting yourself in too much trouble. All right, give me a minute here. I'm going to flip around. Go back over this way. Head back to my vehicle. So, that's kind of fun out here. Yeah, I live not too far away from here, so it's the fun part. And I can do these maybe once a week, because I get out and I walk. Try to get out and exercise. Well, I do the walking more than once a week, but I try to do something different for my streams. And I figured, well, this would be something different. You guys might enjoy this. From what I understand on YouTube, people are doing more things like this. I'm a faceless gamer, of course. So I'm putting you guys out there more than having you look at me or putting it... You'd be looking at a real ugly mug if you were doing that. Some people actually get to see me when I'm at my job. They, like I said, you need to be on the radio. Well, I'm going, why? I already am. I'm on the headset going, welcome, come on in. What can we make for you today? Kind of thing. Welcome to this place, welcome to lunch. What can we make for your lunch? So, and then they say, do you have breakfast? I say, no, I haven't had breakfast since October of 2024. What can we make for your lunch today? Where can we find breakfast? I'm going all the way around us. Mostly in the next town, about 8 miles away. In the same location. So, it's an interesting thing for me to be able to say that. Usually I only tell people that when I'm at work. So, the fun things that I do. What do I do for hobbies? Well, for one, I work about a 10 to 11 hour shift 4 days out of the week. I work mostly on the weekends because that's where restaurants make their money. So, and then I, of course, work midweek, 2 days to give other people days off. They need days off too. So, and then I'm off on, I try to stream on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays from roughly around 8 in the morning till around noon. And then I try to help when I get off, when I do farming, which means, what do you mean farming? Well, I take care of the chickens, take care of sheep, take care of the mule, make sure they got fed. Went to town, of course, picked up the stuff for the cats, and of course, made sure we feed the birds. We take care of them. They give us nice views, and we have hummingbirds and cardinals and chickadees and, like I said, hawks, bald eagle. The reason is I'm not that far away from the actual river in this location, so believe me, if I walk out where I live, out my back door and go down about 120 feet, my feet will be wet in the river. So it's kind of a fun thing. All my relatives are here, so that's what's nice about this zone. So, like I said, planted all this stuff around here about 40 years ago. So this was literally open plains. A lot of this was more like how the cornfield is, more like how this stuff is here. This is taken care of by the thing, but more or less wild plants, wildflowers. Grabbed up a lot. You can tell. Yeah, the air quality is not exactly perfect. Love this place. Love visiting. Love coming out here. Good place to walk. I walk in town too, so. But town's not as actually better to look at. You don't see wildlife. Well, I can't say that. When I go through town, I'm like going, man, I didn't know that foxes belong in town. I've seen foxes, coon, raccoon, of course, bandits, basically, lots of them in town. Deer, I've seen deer in the middle of the town park. I've seen deer eating at midnight in the middle of the town park. That's interesting. You're sitting there going, how did they get there? Interesting. But there's a lot of more urban renewal. Things are being built. Things are being changed. But I figured I'd do something different this morning. Can't really check the chat room too well. But hey. Making things a little bit different. Town's changing. Between the three that I visit the most. Oh, Madison's not too far away either. Big town. Has a funny thing about Madison, Wisconsin, and you can look this one up. They have a farm in the middle of town. That'll throw you. What do you mean? They actually literally have a farm in the middle of the capital. You can look that up if you like. Wisconsin's known as a dairy state, and there's a good reason for it. This being June Dairy Month, of course, so don't forget to get your milk, butter, and cheese. Do you have that enjoyable? Unfortunately, I'm going to be a bad person to say this. I forgot to grab the milk. I grabbed everything else, the creamer, the coffee, everything else, and I forgot milk. Oh, well, can't remember everything. Of course, then I remembered something. I'm going, I didn't stop at the store that had the butter for the cheapest price either. So, that's on me. Usually I stop there on Wednesday nights, but things being the way it was. And remember, Wisconsin has two major seasons. One being winter, which is the roads are covered over, you can't really move, you're sliding everywhere. And the second one, more towards the summer, fall, and idea. The second season is road construction, And with road construction, it gets nuts around here because they are building everything. They're ripping up roadways. This was just done, literally, this road that I'm on. They put in the pea gravel and the tar about 5 years ago, and it's starting to crack in places, of course, but that's, the second part of the season. And the two towns I'm in, I'm like going, people are having problems because they're blocking where some of the major businesses are and putting in what I want to call a shunt road. Kind of when you're building a new on-ramp or off-ramp for an interstate, and they've converted everything down to a one-lane road, and you're going, oh no. And I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for them to put a roundabout in at one spot, and I'm like going, that's going to be a real pain on the backside once they do. Once it's finished, it isn't so bad, but when they're putting it in, you're stopped, you're waiting, and you're 20 cars deep, and you're going, I can't move for 20 minutes. Not exactly a comfortable thing. But once it's done, it'll probably be a wonderful thing. Hopefully, one of the first roundabouts was put in the area, and someone tried to go through it just straight through and hit the thing in the middle. Oops. Wasn't probably paying attention. Caught it the hard way. Ended up in the hospital. I should say that. The vehicle was totaled and they ended up in the hospital. But once it was all put in and everyone kind of knew it was there and they put up a warning, made it a little easier. What's nice about this small family told me about this 10 acres is, go back in time with me a little bit here about this section in here. This is where Indians used to have their summer quarter, was here because they were near the river, which is not too far away, and they could actually have teepees or wigwams all in this area. So think about that once. And this is 1700s, and Ma went out looking through here and is finding a lot of scraper stones, which are not normal to this area. In other words, they had to either barter beads or something else to get them for this area. So it's kind of interesting. And I figured I'd do about 30 minutes of streaming. If you guys caught my face, I'm sorry. I'll try to edit that out later, but if not, oh well, you caught me. You know kind of what I look like, but he's still ugly. I know how he is. Face for radio. So I thought I'd do something different. About 30 minutes worth. I'm going to go in now and I'm going to actually try to do a little more real streaming, of course. Get in my vehicle and come in and pull in and then do some real streaming. But this is such a beautiful area. You should see this in the winter. It's just really cool. Or really cold. But like I said, sumacs are an invasive species. Thought I'd just say hi, hello, prove that I'm not a bot, and catch you guys all on the next flip side. So my vehicle's just up the road here, so I will catch you all later.